is not that hard to learn as a beginner. That's a pretty bold statement, isn't it? Well, if you want to transfer your data from VS Code, for example, to GitHub by way of Git, it's really not that difficult. You only need about 5 commands. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use 5 commands via VS Code CLI in order to send your data to GitHub using Git. Well, if you're ready for that, don't forget to hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share this video. And with all that said, let's just jump right into it. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go over to github.com. I'm currently signed in. So what we want to do is we want to come over here to new repository, and we're going to call this, so our repository name is going to be called myth project. Let's call it myth project or mythology project YouTube. Okay, so we call it that. This is going to be public, and then we're going to go ahead and just create repository. Awesome. So here we have quick setup. If you've done this kind of thing before, is what it says here. We want this as HTTPS, so we want this URL. We're going to go ahead and copy this URL link. It's been copied, so we're going to minimize this. And now we're in our IDE, so we're in VS Code. And what we want to do is we want to initialize Git locally first. So we're going to come into our main folder here, which is going to be mythology project YouTube, not mythology YouTube. We want to make sure we're in mythology project YouTube because that's the main directory. So mythology project YouTube houses mythology YouTube, which is our application, which holds our application. So we're going to be using this mythology project that I previously made a video for. Check it out on it's the last video we made before this. We're going to be basically pushing this one to GitHub so that you guys can have the repo for it, so you guys can access the repo for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to first say git init. And you can see it says initialize empty Git repository. Now we can clear out of this. So to see that it's working, now you can see within source control, there's 27 pending changes. So we can do that. And now we want to make sure that our default branch is main. So this is still within the first step of initializing Git locally. So we want to make sure that our Git branch is main. And the reason being is because typically Git defaults to using master as the branch name, but many new platforms such as GitHub tend to favor main. And the way we do that is we say git branch m is main, and we just leave it at that. So now our default branch is set to main. Now for step 2, what we want to do is we want to stage and commit all our files. And we want to add our files, first of all, to the staging area. So before we do that, let's come into our files here, and let's make sure within our git ignore. So let's go over to git ignore. Let's make sure we have .env and every other env file within our git ignore. So we can go ahead and close out of this because we do have it. So make sure that is a big step. Make sure your .env is within git ignore, or any .env files you have is within git ignore, because your .env files tend to hold your credentials, and you don't want that to be just out there as an open source repo. Like, you don't want people to just be able to access your .env files, and that is due to security reasons. So make sure it's within git ignore, because that git ignore file doesn't get sent over to GitHub. It's ignored, as the name would state. So you want to make sure that is done before you add all your files to the staging area. So now, in order to add all our files to the staging area, all we have to do is say git add dot. And what this is doing is it's telling Git which files to track for changes, and all our files must be staged before they can be committed. So this is the first step. So after doing so, we just go ahead and hit enter, and now we want to be able to commit the files with a message. So we're gonna say git commit message is gonna be initial commit. Enter that. There we go. And you can see those are all our files. So now what we want to do is we want to link our local repository to GitHub. So the way to go about that is we're gonna say git remote add origin, and we're gonna use that link that URL that we copied from our GitHub. So we're gonna go ahead and paste that in there, and we're gonna enter that. So now we can go ahead and hit clear, and now we want to go ahead and push our code to GitHub. So we're gonna say git push u origin main. We're going to enter that, and as you can see, it's pushing to GitHub. So we've just pushed all our files to GitHub. So now our last step is we want to go on GitHub and make sure that our files has been pushed in there. So let's go back to GitHub. So now we can go to Mythology Project YouTube, and let's go over to Mythology YouTube. We click on it, and these are all our files. As you can see, they've all been pushed in there. So now we can just go ahead and sign out of it. We can go ahead and sign out. Let's sign out from all accounts and close out of that. Awesome. So as you can see, this is the simple step on how to push our data straight to GitHub. So we can just go ahead and clear it out, and that's it. So that's it. That is literally the easiest way to push things to GitHub. As you can see, it's not that difficult. It's just 5 steps. So the first step is we created our repository within GitHub. That was the first step, and then for step 2, we reinitialized, or we initialized our Git locally. And then after doing so, we went ahead and staged and committed our files. So that was step 3. And then we went ahead and linked our local repository to GitHub. That was step 4. And then lastly, we went ahead and pushed our code to GitHub while verifying that the code is on GitHub. So that's all we did. So that's pretty much all this video is going to show you. Within the description, I'm going to put all the steps and the commands that go with it. So if you guys enjoyed this, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. We're on our way to 500 subscribers. I'm trying to get that by the end of this month, which is basically by the end of this year. So if you guys enjoyed this, please don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like and share the videos. With all that said, one more time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.